We constantly see these images, these words, these ideas floating amongst the smog that fills our pitch-black, inky minds. Yet we do not understand what they mean or their ever so subtle influence upon us. We are defiant fools who wish for what we do not understand. We are platform-agnostic fools who believe that the source of our content is not vital. We are surrounded by an ever-changing environment in which theories are formed to substitute for our unknowing minds. They are substitutes for our worries and our complaints, and they will always be changing. Written, typed, and thrown at the foot of your doorstep. Doesn't even read them anymore, aside from the Sunday comics. There's a growing epidemic in which we have turned away from the pages of old and turned to the screens in front of us. No longer does one listen to the subtle sound as binding cracks or breathe in the smell of dust-laden pages. The handwritten pages of history have now been copied onto the pages of the internet, and almost anything is available at the tap of a finger. It's an amazing thing that we have all these resources at our fingertips, but it also takes away from the experience of actually holding a written manuscript and realizing all that's been put into it. I do believe something very magical can happen when you read a book. J.K. Rowling. Magazines are printed gossip. Don't worry, they'll update you on all the latest drama, love affairs, newlyweds, and newborns. Pick one up if you don't want to miss out. The sound of endless clicking fills a room of tireless white-collar workers sitting in isolated cubicles. His ears ring as the sound seems to echo inside his head. He leans his head on his hand as he glares at the screen in front of him. He pulls up his email to send information about last week's meeting to one of his co-workers, when suddenly a photo pops up from the right side of the page. His gaze falls on the image where his cursor hovers. Deciding a little detour won't hurt anything, he selects the image and is led to a new screen where an array of beautiful women tempt him to his demise. It's just a quick detour, he thinks to himself, as he lets his temptations take over and his work is placed aside. Phosphenes fill the void in the back of my eyelids as I let wispy thoughts filter through my head. The thoughts of pure sunlight create swirls of color in the back of my mind. It's summer. The grass tickles the bottom of my feet playfully as I lay there peacefully. It's summer again, and I'm now inches taller. Summer. Yes, summer. The days of a time when I was once young and carefree as the zephyr of summer would blow through my sun-dried hair. However, summer has become a very different place for me. The harassing images posted upon billboards, magazines, and social media tear down my self-confidence. I stand before an assaulting judge, a criticizing cretin, one whom points out my flaws one day but praises me for my powdered face the next. I stand before this judge, the reflecting pool of glass that is nailed onto my wall. As I stare into it, the judge begins to speak. Your thighs are as wide as logs. How can you even walk? And how can you even consider those breasts? Your stomach is a beast all on its own. Your hips are too wide, and your stretch marks are disgusting. How can you even bear to look at yourself? It's summer again. Summer. Phosphenes fill the void in the back of my eyelids as I try and block out the thoughts of my despised corpse. For in my mind, I have already done away with myself. Jimmy Grayson got the new game. He's obsessed with it. He plays it all the time. He's so weird. He talks about blood all the time. I think he's gonna kill someone. All he does is play that game and watch gore YouTube videos. He gives me the creeps. His mom must be so disappointed. He'll just grow up to play video games for a living and live in his parents' basement for the rest of his life. Video games aren't bad. They help with fine motor skills. Video games, video games, video games. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace a slot with what I once bought. Somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence. Sometimes quiet is violent. I find it hard to hide it. My pride is no longer inside. It's on my sleeve. My skin will scream, reminding me of who I killed inside my dream. I hate this car that I'm driving. There's no hiding from me. Forced to deal with what I feel. There's no distraction to mask what is real. I could pull the steering wheel. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace a slot with what I once bought. Somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence. I ponder of something terrifying, because this time there's no sound to hide behind. I find over the course of our human existence one thing consists of consistence, and it's that we're all battling fear. Oh dear, I don't know if we know why we're here. Oh my, too deep, so you stop thinking. I liked it better when my car had sound. These are the lyrics of the song Car Radio by 21 Pilots. The lyrics of this song sum up the idea of blocking out certain thoughts when music is turned on. However, when we don't have that sound filling our heads, the dark thoughts at the back of our minds start to take over, pulling the steering wheel. Earbuds in, world out. Full blast. Block everything else out. Don't let the demons take over your mind. Let the words sink in. You'll be okay if you just hold on for one more song. We are in an age where almost anything goes. Things that were once forbidden and unheard of, obscene, have now become cultural norms. Vulgar, inappropriate television shows are aired every day of the week, and the restrictions of what can and cannot be done or said has become very loose. You can't go without hearing at least one cuss word during a movie, and even some cartoons are misleading, containing adult material instead of child-friendly material. The little knowledge we have left about good and evil is used to determine what should and shouldn't be allowed on television. Way to go, government. I settle back into a black leather recliner as the title sequence begins, knowing that for the next hour and a half I'll find myself in a comatose state while a mock reality rolls before my eyes. For an hour and a half, I'll believe in the impossible, dream big, and know that everything will be okay in the end. For the next hour and a half, I'll feel like I'm involved in the most dreamlike life. Finally, the end credits roll, and I find myself wishing I could go back, live that reality over and over and over again. But it's over. I get up and leave the theater, leaving my perfect life behind. Girls like Barbies and boys like trucks. Asians all look the same. All Muslims are terrorists. Black people speak ghetto. If you like the color black, you're totally goth. Women do not know how to use power tools. Homeschoolers wear long black skirts, have long hair, and have at least 7 siblings. All boys like sports. Scrolling down the seemingly endless pages of an application meant for flaunting one's ingenuine happiness, my face is drawn. I envy the happiness they display upon the pages of their clean, polished lives. I flip through the photos I've taken in the past couple of weeks. I select one that displays me surrounded by fake friends and a forced smile cut and pasted onto my makeup-plastered face. I upload it and choose a filter that will alter the dark lighting of the picture. I type up some cliche quote and take my friends, who I know will only like my post because they expect a like back on their recent posts. I press post and distort the reality of my simple life into something more than what it is. Television has become one of our main sources of information and daily news. We consume these images and ideas as quickly as we get them and then vomit the repercussions. We gorge ourselves on the realities of fictional characters and become disgusting slobs as our bodies sit there dormant. We are never fully satisfied. We believe that who we are is determined upon our technological state of being. No wonder Americans are so prideful.